So it's hello everyone, I'm TC Jones and we're back. This is the second lesson, but it's the second lesson in the second lesson. So it's 2.2 of the guitar theory application of some of the MITA principles, MITA, Music Interval Theory Academy principles of composition applied to the guitar. So we're continuing, and this part of the lesson is going to be on plain song, and plain song is basically very simple music based on modes. And so we're going to do a plain song that has one melody, and then we're going to write a second voice for it. That I'll do on an acoustic guitar because it's more of a classical sound, but just for what we have to study and learn about now, I'm going to use the good old electric guy. So the first thing is to understand the range of things, because a plain song was sung by a female or male voice. And so what is the female basic range? If you're going to write a song for a female, what should be the range? So I'm going to show you. On the guitar, this note, that's middle C. Okay, middle C right there. The female range is, the safe range is from here up an octave. So you're going to be up to here, right? And this middle C on the guitar is in several places depending on the string you're playing. So and you have on every string. So you got 5 middle C's on the guitar. And so the female voice range is approximately an octave from here up to here. And you can go a little below. You can go 3 below, so you can get down to here, because that's 3 below, right? And 3 above. So the range ends up being here. So you can get an idea of where you want your song to take place on what strings. And so that's the basic range. The basic range for the male voice is 1 octave lower. So it's from down here, right, to here, and here, down an octave, which isn't on the guitar. It actually is, but writing-wise, it's not, because when we write music, everything that is written an octave higher in the systems than it sounds. So this, it would be written an octave higher than middle C, be up in the stave someplace, and I can show you that. But so anyway, the range of the guitar, the range of the male voice is 1 octave lower than the female voice. And of course, you can extend it up and extend it down. Those are untrained voices. Okay, so the trained voice has a tremendous range, much more on every side. So if you're dealing with trained singers, but because it's plain song, we're not dealing with trained singers, because we're pretending we're living in the year 600 BC, and we're in Asia Minor, and we're going to be in the Dorian culture, or the Lydian culture, or the Aeolian culture. So that's our frame of mind. So you're a shepherd out in the field, and you're going to write a tune for your flute, which is going to be probably the female range, and you're going to write a song in that range. And so I want you to get an idea on the guitar what ranges are and where things belong, because this instrument is complicated to see. And now you know that there's 5 middle C's on the guitar, 1 on each string except for the high E string, okay? If you have an 8-string guitar, there's more. So the idea is to write plain songs. So we're going to start in B flat, and I'm just going to play some PC in B flat so you can see. Those are all PCs. I'm just taking the notes and moving them all up. Those are open voices. They can have passing tones. And so that's what you're going to stay in. We're going to start with the Ionian mode, which is this B flat. And I want you to make sure you know how to play it all over. So you have B flat, so you can see the notes, because basically you're just going to write a very simple melody, and it's going to be a plain song, and we're going to give you a form, and so you'll do that simple melody and plain song, and then you're going to write a second line against it, and the rules are going to be very simple. For the second line, all you have to do is avoid the notes of the top line. So you write the top line, or you can start with the bottom, but it's better to start with the top at first to get used to it. So you're going to write a simple melody. We're going to write it so you can see how to do it. I'm going to do it on acoustic guitar. And then we're going to write a second line against it using the same idea, just only using notes in the mode, but enhancing the top line and staying out of the way. And sometimes you'll run into some dissonance if you do that. And so I also want to show you what causes that dissonance and why and how you can avoid it, okay? So the dissonance in a Ionian mode would occur in a couple of different places. The main places it occurs is between the third scale step and the fourth scale step, because that's here. So these two notes. And then if I kept going, it's there again, right? So and those are just one apart. And ones are pretty sound, so I'm not telling you not to play those. I'm just showing you where those problems can arise. So if I'm playing a top line is going, and that's the E flat. And down here I'm going, that's doubling, right? I end up in the same place. So. Okay, that's contrapuntal movement. But what if I start down here? That's my line, and this is. So now I got. You hear how dissonant that is? That's because from here to here is 13 half steps. And there's 12 half steps, or 12 steps, in an octave. And so that's one step bigger than an octave. And that interval, a 13, we're going to call it a 13, that 13 doesn't occur between consecutive tones in the overtones series in nature. Okay, it's nature. It's not what I'm saying or anybody else. That's just nature. The 13s can occur in a couple of different octaves. If you're in the same octave and between two consecutive tones in the overtones series, and you play a 13, it doesn't sound good. And we'll call it the producer's dissonance, because they may know nothing about music, but they will hear that. So how do you fix it? Okay, and the way you fix it, there's several ways to do it. Okay, so if I have, and then, I can actually switch them. So I can go. Okay, so that's a switch from these. Okay, so now I have the E flat on the bottom and the D on top. And that's an 11. And 11s are pretty because they resolve. Right? So if I'm playing this, I can land on it, or I can just not get here that fast. Right? So if I want, I can go. I just flatted that note, so now it is no longer a 13. It's a 14. And 14s are the same as 2s. So I can change this around by doing. I can move things. That's how you get rid of that sound. Now, right now you're just hearing these bare tones. So, of course, this doesn't sound good. But if I move it, and so it's got a direction. So if this is. And I eliminate that note, so it's just. Okay, it's not so bad then, because now I got. And if I want this to be, and I don't want to go, because my melody is this, then I can skip a note down here. So I can go. See, I passed this note. This is an octave, right? So you. So that's 13s, okay? 13s have a shape on the guitar, and so do 14s. 14s are directly across the neck. Here's a 14. It's just so 14s, and 14s love to expand. 14s love to expand, and they can expand in either way. So if I have a 14, you can go to here, or right. So I can get little musical phrases. I can even move it. Right? 14s are a great sounding interval. What is 14? 14 is 2 more than an octave. Here's an octave. And if I add 2 notes, that's a 14. I can do it both ways. I can do it this way, or right. And this has a way. It wants to move someplace, right? Because it's a 14, and wants to go there, right? And when you have a knowledge of how intervals move, you don't need to worry about a key so much, unless you want to. You can be in a tonal center. You can be a great diatonic guy, but you could also move out of it easy because you understand how the intervals work. And you can use the intervals within the key, and it always sounds good. Like if I do this, that sounds great. That's in a key. If I So that's just in a key. But the idea of intervals, you can move them. Right? So when I'm in a key, I want to pick notes that are in a key, and those occur in certain places, but now you need to learn the modes. And you can learn the modes by writing melodies in the mode and then writing a second line, okay? So we're going to write a little melody in the modes, and the main things you need to know is the range, so you can write it in a female range, or you can write it in a male range. I think for the guitar, you want to keep it on a female range. It's going to keep you kind of up in here on the guitar, right? And so you want to practice a little bit. And you want to make sure every line makes sense. You know, if I do this, if I'm in B flat, right? And I go, that's not really a song because it's too big of a leap. It could be musical, but it's better for orchestration. If I make sense in my line, though, if I go, that'd be like an idea of a plain song. You just write a very simple. This is simple. This isn't, you don't need a lot of theory other than just you got to know what the scale is. And we're going to provide you with the shapes of where the scales are. So like if I have this scale, B flat Ionian, that has columns on it. So if I'm going across the neck this way, it's, and then if I get up here, it's this way. And then the next one's here. Sorry. Okay, so there's all these columns. And you want to be able to connect them because I can play a B flat chord here or here. And so there's a couple different fingerings. One fingering you stay in place, the other one you're using every 3 frets, so, or every 3 positions. So right? So the Ionian mode, you can stay in the Ionian mode. And I don't want you to worry about trying to harmonize the lines as much as just write 2 good lines. Stay out of the way. Don't land on the same note of either line. Choose different notes and don't write a 13. That's it. And the lines can be intervals that you might not ever would hear, you know, because that's what's supposed to happen. Because when I have that third of the scale and the fourth of the scale occurring, you may get this type of a sound. So I might end up with this, right? That's a 1. Ones will occur. Ones are good. And then you can move away. You'll hear if you want to move it away. But you're going to write without worrying about trying to aim for vertical things. Don't aim for vertical things. Just like kids finger painting. It's really like finger painting. Just do that. Okay? So you're going to write a plain song and try to do one plain song in every mode. And then add a second voice to it. So you get used to the different modes, how they sound. That's really what the purpose is. Okay, so having said all that, we're going to go ahead and pick up the acoustic guitar and play some plain song and add a second line to it. Okay, so I want to play a plain song and then add a second line to that plain song. All right, so that's it for right now. We're going to just take a little bit of a pause here. So